You know how like the mask is just sitting there on the table whenever it's like basically to end the movie. The one
Yeah.
thing I really thought it was like, man, that mask must smell
Oh my god, I was
awful.
thinking that too. And dude put it on his
Oh,
face too,
that
like a
mask must
goofy.
be gross.
The dude put it on his face like a
Oh,
goofy, bro. He's like, dude, what's his name? Cordy, whatever the hell his name was. He really put that shit on his face. Like, what's wrong with you, bro? That shit probably had hella fungus. Oh my god, bro. Oh, that's
oh,
disgusting.
like,
Michael Myers ain't never brushed his
dude,
teeth,
like
bro.
he
Michael Myers be
never,
out here
bro.
eating
Not
rats and
even that.
shit.
Like, just think about all the he's never cleaned it. Think about all the people he's killed. Like all the just the disease and germs and just,
Yeah,
God,
that's probably why
for 40
Laurie turned
40
evil.
years.
Yeah, that's terrible,
For
bro.
40 years. Since we have the time, we can get into Halloween first thoughts or Halloween ends on
Yeah,
kind of like some first thoughts or reaction points on what we thought about the film as a whole. And
yeah. Spoiler alert. We're going to spoil some
yeah.
stuff.
Spoilers. You've been warned. After this, then you're on your own, buddy. So, man, I'm probably gonna be all over the place with this one. So we'll just speak to it.
I mean, the movie was all over the place, so I can't be mad at that.
Man, to be honest, I expected a lot more killing, a lot more violence, a lot more pain, gore, blood, all that stuff. I'm not gonna say I was disappointed that as much stuff wasn't in the film. I'm just saying I expected more of it. But yeah, we can keep rolling along with the points.
I honestly wasn't expecting more of that because they gave it so much in Halloween Kills. I wish we got a little more Michael, but it makes sense, right? This is how I look at it. Laurie and Mike in Halloween 2018 co-stars. Halloween Kills is Mike's movie, and Halloween Ends is really Laurie's story. So that's how I look at it. A lot of the reviews for this movie has been very bad. Just because, they had a character, he came out of nowhere. Like, where was this guy before? Why are we focused on him so much? But I think I think there's a reason for it, because I think this isn't the actual end. This is the end of Michael and Laurie's story. Yeah, I don't think it's the end of The Shape or Halloween. So I think just like in 2018, Halloween 3, the original Halloween 3 that came out way back in the 80s, it was hated. People hated that movie, but now it's like a cult classic type movie because, hindsight is 2020, because people were so mad because Michael Myers wasn't in it. And I feel like this is how this movie is going to be.
When I think of, like, how like he would, so when I can't remember the dude's name. You know how like he goes in the tunnel? His name is Ben, right? So when he goes in the tunnel and he meets Michael and he kind of like looks into his eyes, and Michael basically sees all the tragedy and violence that he had to go through. And I think it's kind of like a two-way thing. And the personification of evil, that's the kind of the term I give it. I guess he's just giving him the vision in order to go kill people and just be violent and just bringing out the evil that's already inside him. Is one way that I looked at it while watching the movie. But at the same time, I felt like they were trying to make him kind of like the new Michael Myers, or like the new person that was just going to be out killing people. But it was like, it felt kind of forced, to be real. I was like, man, this feels weird. Like, why would you want to do this now?
Oh no, yeah. Closing this chapter out, why? I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, it's weird. It was a weird way to end it, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch all three of them in unison. So I'm going to watch 2018 Kills and Ends, because I think that's how it's meant to be watched. I think that's how, because when you've been waiting so long for a movie, it kind of, the anticipation, the expectations kind of, can ruin it. But years from now, when people go back and watch the trilogy, I think it'd make more sense. But I do agree, it was kind of random. I forgot the guy's name. Was it Corey or something? Yeah, I didn't. I understood the storyline. It was a tragic story. It's a tragic situation. I feel like if this just wasn't a Halloween movie, it'd have been a better movie. But yeah, it's the expectations we had, and as a Michael Myers fan, as someone who's watched all the Halloween movies multiple times every year, we watch all of them. My wife gets sick of it, but I'm a diehard Michael Myers fan. I was disappointed not to see him as much in this movie. People were complaining that he was weak, that he felt weaker. I'll look at it as he's an old man. Just like Laurie, they're getting old. He's very old. So, of course, he's not going to have the same abilities he's had. Plus, he got his ass beat in the last movie. He got shot, stabbed. Even a lady hit him, lost his fingers, burnt up. And a lady hit him with an iron. Yeah. That's crazy. But she literally brought iron. That's fucking
I felt like this was a good closure for Laurie. Like I guess she's writing that book. I guess she was gonna, I don't know, spend time with that retired policeman or whatever.
Yeah,
the cop, whatever. I forgot his name, but as far as like, because all of her family is basically like her daughter, her son-in-law died. Like, and the only thing she had left was her granddaughter. So I guess she felt like that she had to do everything to protect the last thing she had in her life. When she ended up doing it and basically putting evil to rest, so to speak. But I think this was a really good closing for her and her character. Absolutely. Like I said, I really wasn't disappointed that we didn't get the violence that we were really wanting. It was a decent story. We got a pretty decent story. It's just, they could have done better with the character that they were trying to bring up. That Ben, I mean, they could have did a little bit better with that. I mean, this guy, he just didn't seem like a natural killer, but he kind of fell into that role along the way. So
yeah, and that kid at the beginning of the movie was a dumbass. Let's be honest, that kid was stupid. Like this is why I never liked babysitting outside of like my family, and I'm not gonna allow my kids to babysit other people's kids just because some people are like, that kid was dumb. He said it so. No, he's a child. This is gonna sound bad, but he's a child. But why would you do that? Like, why? Like, you just, not only did you lose your life, you ruined somebody else's life for being an idiot, but being a little brat.
Even the father understood what he's talking about. Some people don't know what he's talking about. The kid in the beginning of the movie locked Ben, who's the babysitter, locked him in like the upstairs attic or whatever room it was. And then Ben was kicking the door so hard to get out of there, and the kid was on the other side of the door. Once Ben ends up kicking on the door hits the kid ends up getting launched off the top railing of the stairs and basically falls to his death by breaking his neck.
3 stories. Which that is a terrible situation to be in, and people were really mad at the babysitter. I mean, I get it. I mean, obviously, I'll be pissed. Somebody lost their life, so it's always going to be tragic. But why would the kid do that in the first place? Like, I just never. But whatever, they had to make this guy. They had to give him a reason to become who he became throughout the movie. I just felt like it wasn't excuse me. Oh, we're tired. But I just feel like it wasn't enough time to tell his story and Laurie and Michael's story. It wasn't enough time. I also saw people complaining about Michael just not being the same Michael, but dude, he's just older. Just like, and then people saying how Laurie kind of handled him so easily. People got to remember, Laurie was training for this fight for 40 years. I mean, if you're training for something for 40 years, you're going to be effective. And at the same time, Mike got his ass whooped. He in the Halloween Kills got shot.
And another thing that kind of like was dumb was the fact that he was hiding out in a cave. Like, that was another thing that kind of like brought to me the value of like what they were trying to do to the plot throughout the whole movie. That he was hiding out in a cave this whole time. I'm like, you're Michael Myers. It's Halloween. You're supposed to be out there stabbing up people and just basically whenever we talk about this time of year, we reference Michael Myers the most. So for you to be hiding in a cave, literally doing God knows what, hanging out with a bum, hanging out with your friend there, I don't know what that was about. it kind of like brought the cinematography down.
Yeah, it made Michael not be as like he's always been an unstoppable force. But I just think like he's old. What the hell has he been eating? Like his I just think about all that shit. Like like what is he eating? I know Michael eats like rats and stuff, but like his nutrition, his diet is probably awful. And I do like they did weaken it. They did weaken him, but I understand from a realistic standpoint, you being that old, how you got handled in Halloween Kills. I can understand why you aren't the same person you were, because we got to remember that people, when they think of Michael Myers, they think of all the other movies. They think of Halloween 2, they think of Halloween 4, 5, 6, Halloween H2O, Halloween Resurrection, all this stuff. But we forget that this series is only Halloween 1978 all the way to Halloween 2018. Halloween Kills and Halloween 2018 took place the same night, and then 4 years later is where we are in this movie. So we got to see the super strength, the super evil Michael in 2018, but he's been brutal. He's been fucked up the last few movies. He got fingers chopped off, burnt the hell up. Then in Halloween Kills, same night, shot, stabbed, all kinds of beat the hell up by people.
You know what's one thing I think of too? You know how like the end of this movie, you know how like the mask is just sitting there on the table whenever it's like basically to end the movie. The one thing I really thought, it was like, man, that mask must smell.
Oh my god, awful. I was thinking that too. And dude put it on his face.
Oh, that like mask must be gross.
The dude put it on his face like a goofy, bro. He's like, dude, what's his name? Cordy, whatever the hell his name was. He really put that shit on his face. Like, what's wrong with you, bro? That shit probably had hella fungus. Oh my god, bro. Oh, that's disgusting.
Like
Michael Myers ain't never brushed his teeth, like, bro. Michael Myers be out here eating rats.
Not even that. Like, just think about all the he's never cleaned it. Think about all the people he's killed, like all the disease and germs and just, God.
That's probably why
for 40 years.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Bro. For 40 years.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Like that is, that's a good point. That's disgusting. Well, yeah, the movie, it didn't. Did it live up to the expectations and standards? No. Did I enjoy the movie? I enjoyed parts. I enjoyed parts of the movie. I want to give the directors, the writers, the benefit of the doubt. I don't necessarily understand the direction, but I obviously think they're setting up something for the future. When they say Halloween ends, I think it means Halloween for Laurie and Michael's story is done. But I don't think it's the end of Halloween. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's the end of the shape. Like you said, the evil was passed on. Michael Myers is just the person that carried it for a while. And as I was saying before, we have to, for this movie, we have to consider none of the other Halloweens happened except Halloween set 1978, Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. So when you consider that, we didn't get to see a lot of the super strength, this super crazy Michael, because in this universe, it didn't happen. He was locked up after the first Halloween movie. He's been locked up. So it's really not the same Michael. We got to see that force in the first movie. We got to see that force in 2018, and we got to see some of it. Well, most of his force in Halloween Kills, but going through that, all of that over the years to include your aging, he's going to be a little weaker. He's
not going to be as strong as he was. But one thing that really did stand out in this movie that stood out to me is that and it's just a theme that I've noticed throughout recent years, that people are always looking for a villain or someone to hate. Like that, like Ben, his whole situation was an accident, but like they were saying that they needed a boogeyman in that town. They needed someone to despise. They needed someone to hate. So they turned to him. Yeah. And that maybe might have pushed him to become an evil personification and just draw out more the darkness that was inside of him. I don't know, because people are just mean. People just do bad things to other people just because they can. But that was just a common theme I kind of saw throughout the movie. But
people were like surprised that bullies were in the band. I'm like, high school today is not the same.
I was like, this is what it's come down to.
Yeah,
band nerds are the bullies.
Yeah, because a lot of the days today, like the athletes aren't bullies. A lot of the athletes today are the straight A
No.
students. Like the athletes aren't the bullies
Yeah.
today. The bullies are the people. The bullies are the like. I'm telling you, even I graduated high school in 2011. I can tell you that
Yeah.
I maybe knew one bully on the football team. No bullies on the basketball team. No bullies in track and no bullies in baseball. None of the athletes were really bullies. Most of the bullies were the kids that you would normally think get picked on. So
Yeah, this is a
that
different
wasn't
time, man.
yeah, that wasn't surprising.
It's a different time.
Yeah, but yeah, the character, the guy, I don't think he deserved what he was going through, but it just goes to show that one thing that could change your life, and can change a good person to a bad person. Everyone has that in them, and it takes one thing to change your life to change. Like it takes one thing, and it could drive you crazy. So that's
And another thing, like a lot of those people were mad about that kid dying or whatever, and they were, throwing shade at, Ben. But the thing is this: that tragedy didn't happen to them. It happened to those parents. It didn't happen to him, it didn't happen to the town per se. It was a tragedy that happened in the town, but it didn't happen to them personally. So for them to hate Ben for something that didn't happen to them, it's kind of like asinine in a way.
When in a small town, stuff like that happens, you're going to get outcasted. You're going to become outcast.
Oh yeah.
It's a small town. Everyone knows everyone. Everyone knows everyone's business. It's just like that's just how it is in small towns. But yeah, he didn't deserve what was going on. Like that was unnecessary. It was an accident. The boy, the little boy. I'm not going to say it's his fault, but it's an accident. You should have let the guy. This is the thing. Like this is why it's important especially for parents to tell their kids to respect adults. Is respect your babysitter. He's not some kid. He's a grown man. He was 21. Respect him. Like you treat him like he's a kid, and then this happens, and now you're dead, and now his life is ruined. I blame the parents. Like for the situations like that, I blame the parents. For raising a kid,
you gotta teach it.
Respect adults.
You kind of like, he seemed kind of spoiled. You can't spoil your kids. You have to discipline them, give them respect, or show them respect. That way they can show other people outside the house respect. Because it all starts within the house. Everything that they learn that they're going to take out into the world, it all starts in the house. And it all starts with your interaction as a parent. But
exactly. So,
but those, that's pretty much. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was saying that event was just so unnecessary, but it's just like you were saying, the evil was passed on to the dude, and he did. It was a little extreme, but the thing about it is, bullying and being an outcast can drive you crazy. Being lonely, especially for men and males, being lonely is what drive a lot of us crazy. I'm not going to say like women are never lonely, but women get attention.
True.
Men who are outcasted, they don't get attention from anyone. They're invisible to the world. So it's like they literally don't exist. And being in a situation like that can drive anyone crazy. You don't have any friends. Your mama is a piece of shit. It's just your life is miserable, bro. So it's going to come down to a few things. You're going to either harm yourself or start harming others if you let those emotions take over.
It's hard to deal with that psychologically.
Yeah. Eventually you're going to break. So, I understand what they would. I get that part of the movie. And I get that they're trying to show that, that effect on people and how a good person one event could change everything for them. And I think that was a big part of the movie. I enjoyed the Michael and Laurie fight. I think it was good, but it was just so quick and short. But I also remember we got enough of that in Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. I mean,
in the first
not
three
Laurie
movies.
And Michael, Halloween Kills, but we
got enough. Like you're saying, we got enough of that in the first three movies. We got basically in Halloween Kills. We got a lot of the violence. I was just thinking like people wanted more, because here's the last one to end their story. So we need like an ultimate zenith fight to wrap it all up, to enclose 40 years of what is this saga. But like you said, it was short. It was short. It didn't. I mean, the ending, the very ending when they threw old boy in that trash compactor, or that wherever in the dump.
Damn, like that.
Man, it was game over there.
They did my boy like
over.
That's, bro. Yeah. I was kind of sad when they did that. I like because I love Michael Myers, and I was definitely.
I mean, at least they gave him a parade.
Basically,
gave him a parade.
They did. That was unnecessary. They didn't need to do that, but I understand why. Because wreaking havoc on this town, 40 years. Overall, I get why people didn't like the movie or didn't enjoy it. Like I said earlier, I was able to understand. I was able to enjoy parts of it. The last like 30 minutes was good. When dude was killing people, this is gonna sound bad, but some of those people deserve what they had coming. I felt bad for the one girl in the band bully group, the white girl, because I feel like she wasn't really bullying him. She was just there. No. So I felt bad.
I didn't feel bad for the nurse. For the nurse and the doctor, I didn't feel bad for them.
No, I didn't feel bad for them.
They were doing some.
What is her name? Addison, whatever her name is. They did her dirty because she deserved that job. Yeah. I knew something was going on between the doctor and her. I knew something. Yeah. I knew it. So those were exciting to see. My favorite. Did you have a favorite? I don't know if we can say this on YouTube. Did you have a favorite kill from the movie?
All I gotta say is, why did Ben burn out my dude's eyes? Why did he take that torch and just start lighting up his face?
Oh my!
Like he said that dude's like he was still conscious as he was like he went for his eyes with that blowtorch. So like
when he put it on his mouth,
down, he put that.
Oh yeah,
he just started, that was bad. Burning his face.
That was bad.
Just kill him, man.
That was bad.
His face.
And remember
he could survive that potentially. That's the thing. He would just be he would just be disfigured. He could still survive that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were talking about that last episode. He just it wasn't really Mike that did that one, but just unnecessary, bro. That was unnecessary.
Yeah.
But the bullying they were doing to him was unnecessary too. So I can understand the frustration and the anger he had. My favorite one was the dude at the radio station, the radio host, because he was just a dick in general. Like, I didn't like his character. Like, he's just an asshole in general, talking about that stuff on the radio. Like, you're literally bullying this guy on the radio. So when he cut his tongue, I think he deserved it, and he cut his tongue off. That was pretty gross when it was playing on the record. That was disgusting. But that was my favorite.
He smashed his face in.
Really good. That was crazy, and it was so graphic. I was like, oh God. But yeah, I forgot about that one when he had the torch. That was a pretty good one. That would have to be my second. Then he crushed the old girl head, stumped her head, and that's like a damn pumpkin, bro.
Well, Michael Myers did that to somebody in I think it was the first of this trilogy, Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah. Those were some good ones, but I think my favorite part of the movie was when I don't want to say this word on YouTube. So when Laurie called the police or called 911 and said she's going to off herself because she knew dude was there.
And then she's like, "You thought I was going to do it?"
Yeah, bro. That's why she is the final girl, bro. She's a soldier, bro. She's a trooper. She was like, called it. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I want to report this. And then she shot the pumpkin. Dude turned the corner. She's like, "You really thought I was going to do this to myself?" Pop, pop, pop. I was like, damn. Yeah, shout out to Laurie, bro. That was my favorite
psychological warfare with her.
Yeah, bro.
It's everything. So she, even though there's certain times where she seems like she's breaking, she's got it all together upstairs mentally. She's mentally strong. Even though she's been through like the worst of the tragedies, she's mentally strong. And there's literally nothing that is going to stop her from getting her revenge on Michael and everything that she's done. So that's why, she is the final girl. And look, she ended her story. She ended her chapter. She ended it happily. And now she's going to go on to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. When they do bring Halloween back, I'm going to assume she's going to die of natural causes. And I think the next main character is going to be her granddaughter, which I like the actress. I like her. She was actually pretty good in this movie. It was a lot of her parts were annoying, but I like her character, and I liked her character throughout this series anyway. Because she was the voice of us, like the people. She would say things that were like normal people would say in situations. But yeah, Laurie had, if you consider, she's had 40 years of military type training, bro. Like she was trained to kill Michael Myers. Like she was going to be the one who did it. So, overall out of 10, if I want to rate this movie, I'll probably give it a 5. I enjoyed moments. I enjoyed a lot of the kills. I'm happy Laurie got a happy ending. I was just disappointed that we didn't see as much Michael. I wish they would have introduced the new guy probably at the end of the last movie, maybe, and then led into this movie. That'd have probably been better. I think that would have been better for the fans and the audience to have this character already established. But overall, I would give it a 5. Like I said, I think later on, when everyone goes back and you watch these movies back to back to back, it make more sense. But just for the fact that the actors did the best they could with what they had, and I want to give them that credit. So I'll give it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, overall, it was a good trilogy. Like I enjoyed it. The first Halloween obviously was my favorite. I mean, the fact that Michael was able to escape, Michael was able to get back to Laurie and basically start this whole rivalry all over again and just reignite the whole franchise from that one movie and just spark a whole new curiosity is how this story is going to end. It really, I mean, they did a really good job, and they brought in Laurie's family, Laurie's daughter, Laurie's granddaughter, and they basically just kind of gave Halloween to a newer generation for them to enjoy and kind of like get some different feels on what has been a 40-year story. Yeah. I really appreciate how they did everything cinematically. I really appreciate the plot, the story, the characters, all the actors. And I hope they reboot this somewhere down the line and just kind of like go off of what they've had previously, but kind of just give something new to a different generation and kind of reignite the whole story of Halloween.
Yeah. Agreed.